Grave, Mr. Cabernet. The Down's cargo plane is about to take off. I'm going after it with the truck.
How are those tanks keeping up with us?
Go. I'll take care of things here.
Well, it looks like Fangram must have beaten Billy. Big surprise there, of course. Alright, welcome back to Let's Play Gungrave Overdose. So this encounter is actually going to be deceptively hard because not only are we surrounded by tanks, most of which are inoperable right now, but Orgmen as well, and we're actually inside the cargo plane now, and I don't know how this cargo plane is able to hold so many of these tanks. I mean, they all weigh 65 tons each, but maybe that's not as inaccurate as I think it is. I don't know, my knowledge of military aircraft is a little sloppy these days, but right now I'm actually just running around dodging attacks, trying to grind up enough beats to increase my demolition shots up to level 3, and then I'm going to unleash the Holy Hell AoE Tier 3 demolition shot, there we go, and kick all kinds of ass and send all, I don't know how the plane even survives this, but the tanks certainly sure don't, which is nice. So that made a that made a very difficult encounter a lot easier. I've died to that encounter during my test run, so I was not having any of that, especially after the crap we just went through in the previous video. I have no patience for it, and Grave definitely shows that off on screen very well. So, assuming that all the enemies, I guess there's one left. When all the enemies in the room are defeated, the door will unlock, of course. Because that's an original concept for this game, right? Whoops, we got one more guy coming in, of course. They won't let us get through without a fight. But yeah, we have no time for him either.
It's been a long time, hasn't it, Grave?
Sherry.
What's the matter? Have you forgotten me? I guess that's to be expected, isn't it?
No, how could I forget
After
you?
all, you threw everything away when you died. You must have, otherwise no human being could do what you do. I can never forgive you. Everything I cared about, you took from me. My father, and my beloved Harry. All gone. Because of you. This one's for Sherry Macdowell. Now it's your turn, Brandon Heat.
Alright, so time for a boss battle against Sherry Macdowell. Or Sherry Walken, depending on what part of the story we're referring to, because she was Bear Walken's daughter, and married Harry Macdowell when she became old enough. The anime actually depicts her over the course of time as a kid, as a teenager, and then as an adult when the series finally comes full circle. I don't want to give any spoilers for what happens to her in the anime, but this whole thing would be impossible if we were following the anime's continuity, I'll just say that. So, she, as a boss, she actually has some really nasty attacks, but they're a very exploitable weakness that she has. We can deal with her pretty easily. I'm really not sure what her, how she got involved with the Corcione family in the story context of this game, and or what her powers are. But it's really tragic to see her so hell bent on killing us after what we had to do to Bear Walken and Harry Macdowell, her father and her husband. But very prolific character in the series overall, so it's nice to see her come back as a boss. I'm more so like her characterization than Bunji's, that's for sure. So the first round there was dropping her shields down, which causes her to lose her weapon. It just simply breaks and she tosses it aside. So now she's going to try to take us on with hand-to-hand combat. And as you can see, she's very fast, so she might be a superior or similar to whatever Bunji was. So she's going to come at us with kicks and punches and all kinds of other nonsense. But Though her one exploitable weakness, as you're going to see when she uses her rush attack there with the blue blur behind her, is you can actually just melee her ass. Like you can actually get a free hit on her and counter that attack with a regular melee. If she tried to do that head kick maneuver, it's pretty difficult to dodge that. But if you just start meleeing in place whenever she goes after you like that, chances are you'll hit her because you have a ridiculously huge hitbox. You'll knock her back and give yourself some more room to... See, sometimes she still gets you in the head there, but like I said, you'll give yourself more room to attack her and give yourself some free space there to recover from whatever she's doing. But she moves very fast, so getting a lock on her is pretty tricky. But yeah, her attacks, in her first form, she sends like little sonic shockwave things at you and shoots at you occasionally. Nothing really to worry about. Her health drops pretty fast in that form. This is where it gets a little bit more tricky, but again, if you can, she does have a very brief window where she telegraphs her attacks, and if you counter it with a simple melee like that, you'll be in good shape. I kind of like that. It's very unique and strategic for a boss in this game that they would allow you to use melee as an effective strategy, because almost every other boss throughout the series you would just be like, oh, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to get a good melee hit on them, but Sherry might just be a regular human, so it makes sense, I suppose. Yeah, she just gets knocked back. It really is a shame. I would hate to have to kill her because she's not inherently evil. She's just in our way, and it really is a shame. But, again, more haunting ghosts from our past coming back to kill us again. But we've got a job to do, so we can't afford to be... We can't afford to die again just yet.
No.
Finish her off with a charge shot there. I like her outfit, and I'm a sucker for the tan skin and white hair.
It's just as he said. You are Death Incarnate. How many more people must you kill before you are satisfied? It doesn't matter. I'll finally be reunited with my beloved. My... Harry.
Such a shame. It's not about revenge anymore, Sherry. It's about doing what's right. Alright, so there's a few more enemies that stand in our way before we get to the cabin where Don Corcione is and Garino. So dealing with them will be pretty easy. We can just stand in place and use burst mode until these guys get close enough, and then we can start moving around. Focusing on one at a time. I don't think I'm going to need to use a demolition shot here. I think I'll just save it for the next part. And then some more guys will come in behind you here. It's funny, I always find it amusing when the guys with the rocket launchers are the last enemies remaining in an encounter, because it's pretty much impossible for you to take damage at that point, because you'll just keep reflecting their rockets back at them. When they're mixed into an encounter, I mean, it's fine because there's still guys with machine guns that can hurt you. But if they're the only guys left, it's like you're just sitting there waiting for them to shoot you with their rockets, only for them to kill themselves. Alright, I think that's everything. I always hate it when games decide it's a good idea to spawn enemies behind you. I griped about that extensively with Doom 3 and other such horror games where they try to be action-based but have random jump scares, and they decide that spawning enemies behind you is a good idea. And again, in this case it works a little bit better because it's supposed to be an arena-type room that you're running into, where you just have to clear out the room of all the enemies before you can move on, so it does make sense for them to come from multiple directions. But as far as linear progression goes, it's just... It goes against all your sensibilities, and it puts you into this habit where you're constantly looking behind yourself to make sure there's no enemies coming up from behind you, and it really throws you off. Huh, doing another pose. I keep forgetting to do those. They affect your art number, and I guess it's a percentage but that's really all it does, is it affects your style points, so to speak. But like I said, I've been told that there's a way to stun enemies with it in this game, but I don't think that's actually true because I've never been able to do that before. I just like to show them off whenever it's relevant. They're a little bit more flashier than they were in the first game.
So, you're behind this. You ingrate!
Father, it pains me to say this, but you are a relic of the past. The time has come to move on. Don't worry about the organization. Maybe you haven't noticed, but I've been pulling the strings for some time now. Power has changed hands without a single drop of blood being shed. Now I am the Dawn. And Grave, I must extend my thanks to you. After all, none of this would have been possible without your unwitting assistance. Dr. T certainly outdid himself creating you. And now, I really must be going. I've already said too much. Oh, there is one more thing. This cargo plane has been rigged with explosives. There's no place for you to run.
Garino, you son of a...
This is farewell, Don Corcione. My unworthy adopted father. I have acquired so much thanks to you. I'm truly grateful. I must say goodbye to you as well, Grave. I'm afraid you won't be given a proper burial, but hell awaits you just the same.